Welcome back to PatrickTheAttorney.com. I am Attorney Patrick Silva, and today we're going to discuss the young thug case where the judge took one of the jurors into custody and gave her jail time. What were her legal rights? What should she have done? What did the judge do? What is notice? What are her defenses? Let's watch the video.
Madam, just to recap, you were summoned as a juror on the 17th of March of this year.
In the beginning of the video, the judge starts asking her that you were summoned as a juror on this day and this time to be a juror. The reason the judge does this is that he's laying a foundation to basically trap her into a conviction. Now, I don't know what the notice says, but they mailed her something, and we're going to see this coming up right now.
On the 17th of March, you were served with a order to show cause. That was filed on the 20th of March of this year to appear on this date, the 3rd of April at 10 o'clock in courtroom 1C. You received a copy of that notice, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that notice also gave you sufficient notice that as to why you should not be held in willful contempt for violating the court's admonitions against improper jury behavior, specifically live streaming the jury selection process on Friday, March the 17th of 2023. Do you recall that?
Next, the judge is telling her that you were served with an order to show cause. An order to show cause is a document that says there is a problem, you need to come to court and discuss it, and you might be held in contempt, and that's a order to show cause. A different venue, different states, these have different names, but generally across the U.S., attorneys know this as an order to show cause. And again, she has the right to remain silent because right now she's getting grilled and cross-examined. She should have just zipped it, shut her mouth, and she would have a right to attorney because this is a quasi-criminal procedure. Quote, this contempt is putting her in jail. And you'll see, I mean, whether she did it or not, and whether you think videotaping this was enough to put her in jail, put your comments below. But I don't think she deserved this. The judge asked her, you received a notice of this, didn't you? The reason he's asking this is because in the notice, there's going to be certain language that avails her of her constitutional rights to, one, remain silent, and two, have an attorney. Now, the Georgia Code Title 15, it talks about what powers the judge has, and the judge has a ton of powers to hold you in contempt, and this could be up to 20 days of jail. And violation of a court order related to the televising, videotaping, or motion picture filming or judicial proceedings.
But you did live stream our proceedings, didn't you?
It wasn't live streamed at all.
So what exactly did you do then?
Okay, so when you was giving the speech, everybody was talking. I did take a video, and then the young lady next to me, she was like, "Man, we're not supposed to be recording." Soon as they said that, I deleted everything right then and there. Maybe an hour went by. That's when the officer came up to me and said, somebody had told us that you may be recording. So I showed them the phone. They went through my recent deleted photos and seen the video that I made, but it was already deleted because the young lady next to me had told me that you did say we wasn't supposed to be doing any of that. And this is my first time. That was my first time ever being in court in my whole entire life. So I wasn't really sure of anything we couldn't and could not do. So I do apologize for that.
Well, the lady sitting behind you saw you going ahead and videotaping these particular proceedings, and that was in violation of this court's order. Contempt is punishable by a fine of $1,000 and or 20 days in jail. Madam, I think that given the amount of time and energy and effort and care we spent in making that particular pronouncement, and I tell it multiple times for multiple reasons, and you decide you can just do what you wanted to do.
It's not
pull out your phone
and what I wanted to do.
Well, you pulled out your phone and videotaped our proceedings, and that was in direct violation of this court's order. So I'm going to sentence you to 3 days of in jail, and that will otherwise satisfy your contempt. This kind of behavior, I'm going to do what I want to do. So for that reason, that's why I'm going to hold you in contempt for 3 days, and that will otherwise satisfy your contempt.
What she did was during the jury selection, she videotaped it, but she also deleted it, and she says she never shared it. And then you're gonna see kind of why this happened. Someone snitched on her. Now the judge is going through what the notice gave her. He's saying that the notice gave her information why she was going to be held in contempt charges for allegedly live streaming. She never admits to live streaming. She admits to recording. And for this, yes, the judge gave her 3 days. And if you watch till the end, you see the bailiff walks over and he's going to hook her and book her. And she's going to sit 3 days in jail. Now, I didn't see any follow-up evidence on any of the networks, but I think she's sitting in jail for 3 days. Instead of asking her, hey, did you videotape or did you live stream, where she could have just outright denied it, then there would not have been an admission of guilt. He's asking her an open-ended question. This is kind of a lawyer trick or judge trick to get people to talk. Why? She could ramble on forever, and here she starts the rambling. She's digging herself a deeper grave right now. Now the judge is asking her, do you remember the court giving you ad nauseum admonition? Now an admonition is a warning. I don't know if the judge during his quote admonition said do not do these things, which would be a court order. So if he would have said it's a court order that you not film, take movies or live stream, blah, 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 then technically that would be a violation. But if he just said it's a warning that, so we don't know what this warning was when he was talking, but notice this judge did hold 2 other lawyers in contempt, and we saw those proceedings. He actually made one lawyer write a article on how basically civility, how to be nice to other lawyers, and he had to turn it into the judge to be grading, and he had to meet ABA writing rules. He made the other lawyer pay a $250 fine and then buy opposing counsel lunch. And the judge actually named the deli that he had to go get lunch for, the opposing counsel. When you're in court, it's going to be a little brutal sometimes between the lawyers. You're not in this business in trial work without blooding a couple lips and busting a couple noses verbally. So yeah, it gets contentious because you're fighting for the rights of your client. You can't just go over there and lay down and get rolled over. So let's move on what this judge is doing to her. So the judge is asking her, didn't I tell you to turn the phone off? Of course, another admission by her. Yes, I heard you tell me to turn the phone off. So by her not turning it off, technically, she's in violation. So the judge is going through why he told her we had to turn off the cell phone because it could put the case in jeopardy. In this Young Thug trial, it took months and months to pick the juror. They went through over 2,000 jurors to try and get enough they could sit on this case for a long time. In the trial, at least of this recording in November, it's still going on. It's going to be a long case, and there's a ton of videos out on that particular trial, but it's a complicated, convoluted RICO, racketeering influence, corruption, organization trial. But again, this judge is putting somebody who volunteered her duty time. I mean, she's required by law to come do it, and this is the only thing the United States asks of you is you got to have to give your time and sit as a juror. But now she's going to pay the price with 3 days of confinement. And now she's saying, look, if people were talking, they're doing other things, but the judge traps her again. He's saying, look, you didn't hear any of the 10 minutes. Again, he's trying to get her to admit that. And again, this time, zip it. You don't have to talk. She should have said, you know, Your Honor, I'd like a lawyer, Your Honor. I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment. So what does the judge have at that time? And nothing, no evidence. He has a snitch that says, I saw this. It gets worse because at some point you're going to see that the bailiffs did take away her phone. So now we have a taking of her phone without a search warrant, and it's being used against her. So the evidence could have been the deputy said, yep, I took it and I saw it. And you're going to see where she says, well, I actually deleted it. So they took it, went into her deleted files to find that video. She might have live streamed it. We don't know, but they didn't have any proof in this hearing. And the judge was talking about don't get on Google, don't contact your friends. Of course, that's just what we hear in every trial nowadays. Usually in every trial, the judges will go through a long list of don't do this, don't do that, especially don't research the attorneys, don't research the defendant, don't research the plaintiffs, don't research this, don't go to the site. Because what they want is they want all the evidence to come from the courtroom. They don't want you to go do your own independent research. Now the judge is talking about, we actually have placards in the courtroom that says nothing about social media. She's saying, I don't remember seeing that. And again, the judge is just trying to, I think the judge is trying to make an example out of her, because this is the beginning of the proceedings and there's going to be news of this spreading that, hey, this juror got thrown in jail for 3 days because she took video, which is going to dissuade anybody else from doing this type of behavior. Now here, she's talking about an officer came up to her, said, hey, somebody snitched on you, and they took her phone. They went in her deleted files. So you have 2 levels of intrusion. And that gets into a case, I forgot the name of it, but the case law was holding that, can a police officer get into your phone when it's locked? So we have some issues here. Now in contempt proceedings, a lot of times the judge will take you into custody and you'll sit in the box, handcuffed for a while, and then he lets you out and he changes his mind, but you felt the pain of the wrath. Now she never admits to live streaming. She made a video. She's explaining to the court that she's never been in trouble. This is her first time coming to court as a juror, and now she gets arrested. This judge wasn't having it. He's been pretty harsh on the attorneys that he was holding in contempt. Now he's telling her what contempt is punishable by a maximum of $1,000 and 20 days in jail. She was willing to pay the fine, and this judge is saying no. Now he's talking about, look at, you wasted our time. I had to go through all this. We spent a lot of energy. Here we are. Now he almost said community service. He says, I'm going to hereby sentence you to 3 days of and then he stopped in jail. So he's taking her into custody. You see the bailiff, he comes over, he's walking. So the question is do you think this is a just exercise of the judicial powers, or was this a power trip by the judge, or was this judge trying to dissuade anybody else from, quote, videotaping this young thug trial proceedings? Leave your comments below. Subscribe if you like it. Don't subscribe if you don't like it. This is Attorney Patrick Silva. Have a great day. Bye.